Hey, Bulls Nation, it's your girl Queen Chill Mode coming at you with a Chicago Bulls after the game breakdown as I review the game that was between our Chicago Bulls and the Indiana Pacers for our fourth preseason game. And tonight we got the victory 104-89. Now, going into tonight's game, I was definitely hoping to see some improvement from what we saw from our Bulls the last two games for sure. So with that being said, Fred Hoiberg made the decision to change the lineup by inserting Wendell Carter Jr. as the 5 position to start, and Bobby Portis at the 4. And that turned out to be an excellent decision because Bobby Portis came into this game and brought some energy that was definitely much needed. As you know, he brings energy every time he steps on the court anyway, but to get him out and starting the game with that energy seemed to energize, I should say, the rest of the team, because we were playing with a lot more pace, we were playing a lot faster, our defense was a little sharper in that first quarter, and the team seemed to be energized and enthusiastic and just really giving any and everything that they had out there tonight, which was great. The effort tonight was good to see because it was definitely something that was being questioned in the last two games. Getting off to a great start in this first quarter was Zach LaVine and Bobby Portis, as both young men finished with 8 points after one, and the Bulls took an actual 32-17 lead into the second quarter. As I stated earlier, the defense was very good to start off. The rotations were crisper. Getting back in transition was a lot better, and they actually did a good job of holding the Pacers to 32% from the field. But another area that the Bulls had struggled in over the course of the preseason was the three-point shooting. And tonight, the team got off to a good start. They shot 4 of 9 from the field in that first quarter for 44%. So that seemed to definitely get the Bulls off to a good start within that shooting, as it actually propelled them to a solid three-point shooting performance for the remainder of the evening. And moving on to that second quarter, Bobby Portis continued to shine. He finished the half with 15 points on 6 of 9 shooting from the field and 2 of 4 from three-point range. But the decision to start Bobby Portis meant that Jabari Parker was going to come off the bench. And he did indeed come off the bench. He actually had his best shooting performance for the Bulls thus far, as he had good numbers going across the board in terms of his shooting, as he was like at 4-7 from the field, 1 of 2 from three-point range, and made all 4 of his free throws, finishing with 11 points. So while Jabari had a nice night off the bench for the Bulls actually got 3 starters who had 20 or more points going into tonight's game, and that would have been Zach LaVine, Justin Holiday, and Bobby Portis. All 3 looked phenomenal out there, from Justin Holiday's great shooting, Zach attacking the basket, and Bobby being all around energetic. Zach finished the night with 22 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists, and Justin finished the night also with 22 points, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 4 of 7 from three-point range. Now, a few takeaways for me going into this game were, of course, the lineup change. That lineup change seemed to bring a lot of energy and enthusiasm to the start of that game, which is something that had been lacking from the Chicago Bulls probably since the first game. So that was definitely a good sight to see. I'm not sure if this is something that Fred Hoiberg is going to continue with, if this is the projected starting lineup, that I don't know. But it definitely looked good out there tonight. Also, another positive takeaway from tonight's game was the three-point shooting. Over the first, even the game we won against New Orleans in the first preseason game, the three-point shooting wasn't all that great, and it continued to sputter for game 2 and 3. However, tonight, the Bulls did a phenomenal job, had a better performance from three-point range, as the team overall shot 43%. So that was definitely a great sight to see. That's going to be a huge part of our success this year, especially if you're a team that's trying to play with the pace and space that we're trying to play with. The three-point shot is going to be key, especially for guys like Zach LaVine. The great three-point shooting opened up the court for him. He attacked the basket tonight, got to the free throw line 8 times. So being able to space that floor opened up some areas of the game for Zach LaVine. Now he was getting to the rim in the earlier games too, but that definitely, with the Bulls having a better three-point shooting night tonight, that pretty much created some created some diversity within the offense, if you will, to where you're not saying, let me sag off this guy and make him shoot the three. So that was a good takeaway. And also the defense held the Pacers to 36% in the first half and had a lot of improvement. All right, Bulls Nation, I want to introduce you guys to a segment that I'll be spotlighting over the course of the season as I continue to do more after game breakdowns of our Chicago Bulls basketball games over the course of the season. And this segment will be entitled The Stat That Stole the Show, where I'll spotlight a statistic that led to the victory or loss of our Chicago Bulls. And in tonight's game, that statistic was none other than the three-point shooting, as our Bulls shot 13 of 30 for 43% and saw Bobby Portis, Zach LaVine, Justin Holiday combined for 9 of 17 from three-point range at 52%. And of course, the king of the court, aka the player of the game for our Bulls tonight, was none other than Mr. Energizer Bunny himself, Bobby Portis. Bobby finished with 20 points, 6 rebounds on 8 of 11 shooting from the field, and 3 of 5 shooting from the three-point line. Up next for our Bulls as we wrap up the preseason will be the Denver Nuggets taking on our Bulls Friday night. As always, guys, thanks for checking out the channel. God bless.